Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh。早上好，欢迎来到我们的论坛。我是你们的 moderator Aisyah。今天我们论坛的主题是 How's mental health care in China? For your information, mental health in China is a growing issue. Experts have estimated that about 173 million people living in China are suffering from a mental disorder. The desire to seek treatment is largely hindered by China's strict social norms and subsequent stigmas, as well as religious and cultural beliefs regarding personal reputation and social harmony. While the Chinese government is committed to expanding mental health care services and legislation, the country struggles with a lack of mental health professionals and access to specialists in rural areas. So, the current situation in China, though it continues to develop its mental health services, still has a large number of untreated and undiagnosed people with mental illnesses. So, in today's forum, we will discuss some of the factors that may play a role in this issue. With us today, we have two honorable panels. Most welcome. The first panel is Miss Shuhadah, student who studies psychologist in China. Then we have Miss Athirah, a researcher, also a student at Chinese University. Without wasting our time, I would like to ask Miss Shahadas first. Can you explain to us about how's the situation in China based on their mental health?
好，首先谢谢你邀请我来今天的论坛。Assalamualaikum and 大家好。So today let's discuss about the mental health in China. So researchers estimate that roughly 173 million people in China have a mental disorder. Over 90% of people with mental disorder have never been treated. So a lack of government data on mental disorders makes it difficult to estimate the prevalence of specific mental disorders, as China has not conducted a national psychiatry survey since 1993. So the growing awareness of mental well-being enables early detection of youth mental issues, and this is likely to result in increasing number of cases. However, the increase in cases may also be a sign that children and teenagers are more likely to have mental illnesses.
Oh yes, I do agree with your point, but why do students are the ones who more likely to face this issue?
I think we all know the reason because the most of the students were forced to perform well at school and they were too focused on their achievement rather than their own mental health. So that is the reason why they face this issue. And do you know that only 80% of graduates can secure a seat at the local university? So the stiff competition amplifies stress, anxiety, and depression among the youngster. So how could this happen? So China is a country which is lacking of qualified psychiatrists. China averages only one psychologist for every 83,000 people, and some of these psychologists are not even board licensed or certified to diagnose illnesses. Individuals without any academic background in mental health can obtain license to counsel following several months of training to the from the National Exam Psychological Counselors. So many psychiatrists study psychology for personal use and do not intend to pursue a career in counseling. So patients are more likely to leave clinics with wrong diagnosis and are less likely to return for a follow-up treatment. Furthermore, rural communities have typically relied on barefoot doctors for medical advice since 1970s, which contributes to difference in psychiatric care available between the rural and urban areas. So these doctors are unable to obtain modern medical equipment and therefore they are unable to reliably diagnose psychiatric illnesses. And also, the nearest psychiatric clinic may be hundreds of kilometers away, and that is also why most of the families may unable to afford professional psychiatric treatment.
Wow, that is news to us. Now we know what exactly happened in China and how struggling it is for both the victims and qualified staff. However, there must be a real reason why this is happening to Chinese people in China. Is it because of their beliefs or what? So maybe Miss Athirah can explain a little bit more about this.
好，Assalamualaikum and 早上好。首先，很感谢制作人邀请我参加这个论坛。刚才我们的 moderator 说的对，When it comes to mental health in China, there is a negative perception of it due to the stigma related to their culture and folk beliefs. So in China, it is estimated that 18% of the Chinese population, which is about 244 million people, believe in Buddhism, while another 22% of the population, roughly about 294 million people, believe in folk religions, which are a group of beliefs that share characteristics with Confucianism, Buddhism, Taoism, and shamanism. So the common between all of these philosophical and religions belief is the emphasis on acting harmoniously with nature, with strong morals and with a duty to family. So the followers of these religions perceive behavior as being tightly connected with health, illnesses. So illnesses are often thought to be a result of moral failure or insufficiently honoring one's family in current or their past life. So this may discourage people with mental illness from bringing attention to themselves and seeking help. They may also refuse to speak about their mental illness because of the shame it would bring upon themselves and their family members, who could also be held responsible and experience social isolation. Also, reputation or 面子 might be a factor that prevents individuals from seeking professional help. Good reputation are highly valued in Chinese culture. So in a Chinese household, every individual shares the responsibility of maintaining and raising the family reputation.
Oh, Miss Athirah, that was very enlightening. I wonder why would having mental illness affect their family reputation?
Oh, uh, 这是因为 people believe that mental health will hinder individuals from achieving the standards and goals, whether on their academics, social, careers, or other things that are expected from their parents. So, if they can't reach the expectation, they will bring shame to the family, which will also affect the family's overall reputation. That's why mental health issues are seen as an unacceptable weakness.
Oh, I see. So that is why they do not tell others about their mental illness.
Yes, 对的. Chinese people they tend to internalize their mental health problem. They keep their mental health problem to themselves, but this will only make them make the condition of their mental illness become worse and making it difficult to seek treatment. So eventually, it becomes ignored and overlooked by their families. And apart from that, many of these philosophies like Confucianism, Buddhism, Taoism, and Shamanism, they teach followers to accept one's fate. So eventually, people with mental disorders may be less inclined to seek medical treatment because they believe that they should not actively try to prevent any symptoms that may manifest and because they should accept their fate. And they may also be less likely to question the stereotypes associated with people that have mental illness. And instead, they would agree with others that they deserve to be ostracized.
Okay, so based on what we heard and we discussed just now about the factors and so on, what would you suggest to respond to this issue as well as solving it?
I think, in my opinion, China needs to develop a stable and comprehensive system of care. For example, the government can build more public healthcare and workforce to help with the mental health treatment, especially since the current public health services and psychiatrists are very limited in China. So I think we need more of them, especially in the rural areas.
Yes, 对的，我同意。 I agree with Shuhadah's suggestion. It was a brilliant idea. I also would like to add another suggestion, which is to educate the public on mental disorders as well as to speak out against the stigma related to it. This is to address and connect correct the misunderstanding that leads to the prejudice against people with mental illness. So, uh, there should be programs that function to educate the public on this matter. That's all I got.
Wow, 很棒. Okay, all right. Thank you for the suggestion. And unfortunately, we have arrived at the end of our amazing forum today. I thank you so much to our lovely panels, Miss Shuhada and Miss Athirah. And that's all from me. Share. Thank you, Niman, for joining us. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.